Personally, my business is, we're not allowed.
How did they give you admin access?
I have 2 accounts.
Yeah, we're gonna go live on Facebook. Oh shit.
Okay. You share it from Sigma's page.
Okay.
Because you're following it, right?
Yeah.
Are we live on
We're
Facebook?
live on Facebook.
Hey, guess what? We're live on Facebook.
So wait,
Good.
Facebook.
Everybody wave at Facebook. There's camera there. There's camera there.
Perfect.
Perfect.
So if we don't see Josh. Josh, if you want to scoot over one, or you don't have to. But, you know.
There's a purse there.
Okay.
Let's see here. You can move over. It's okay. Move that purse.
Good morning, Miss Pam.
Good morning, Pam.
Okay.
So we're live on Facebook. We got a full house here this morning. We're so excited. And then in just a few moments, we're going to be live on the TuneIn app. So the beauty of doing internet radio is that you have 2 applications. So you have the Facebook application, and then you have a downloadable app through your smart device that you can listen to us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's the TuneIn app, and then you just download that and find JoCo Community Radio. So we're excited. We're excited to be here. We've got a full house. Thank you, Corley.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm so excited.
I love hanging out with these guys.
That's awesome. And I'm going to be excited to hang out with y'all today. Tiffany and I
Yeah, I'm super excited.
It's a new day. I feel better today.
Do you? You sound better.
Thank you. Mucinex. Yeah. I don't know if it's allergy season or what. Is that what it is? Oh my gosh. I don't have allergies. I've lived in Texas my whole life. I've never had allergies.
Well, you have them now.
I guess I have them
today.
now.
This last weekend.
It's all those wish flowers that I was blowing out there over the weekend. Are you fading out, or what are you doing?
You want me to fade?
Yeah, it's 7:05. We gotta go. Gotta go.
Good morning.
Good morning. JoCo Live here in the morning. We've got a full house. We're so happy to have everyone here. Connie Little here.
Tiffany Cooch.
And we have some amazing guests. So I'm going to go around the room and just kind of tell your first names, because I think that's all I remember. And then if you'll say what you do and who you're with, I sure would appreciate that. So I'm going to start with Marcy, because she's on the far side over there. So Marcy.
I am on the far side.
I know, right? So she's on the far side. So Marcy, tell us your last name and who you're with.
My last name is Purviance, and I'm with North Texas Jellystone Park.
Because I didn't say it because I was afraid I'd mess it up.
That's okay.
Yeah, Purviance. Did I get that right?
Purviance.
Purviance. See, I told you I'd mess it up. So thanks for being here. Corley?
Last name is Fluke, and I'm with Sigma Swimming.
Sigma Swimming.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to hear about this.
Well, Raven with Cook Children's.
Wait a minute, what was your first name?
Dana.
Dana. I was like, wait a minute, is that who it was? Dana. Yes, Dana. Thank you for being here, Dana. And you are
Allison
Allison.
Smith
I knew that.
with the Burleson Recreation Center.
Fantastic. Thank you.
I'm Josh Jacobs with the Burleson Fire Department.
Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs.
And I'm Shannon Murphy with, I work with the Kid Craddock Morning Show, and I'm an ISR instructor. Infant Swimming Resource Instructor.
Thank you. I was going to ask you what ISR
Yeah, sorry.
You know, because it's early.
I forget to explain it sometimes.
Thank you for doing that. I appreciate that.
Sure.
So we have a big mission ahead of us, so I'm excited to hear all about this. So Corley, I'm going to let you kind of take it over and explain why you have gathered all these people here and what the mission is.
You're putting me on the spot?
Of course I am.
Good grief.
Yes.
I'm usually just the one who sets up the phone calls and gets us in here.
Well, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's a long story, and I guess we have time to tell that
We've
story.
got till 9 a.m.
Well, first of all, why we're all here, we all have the same mission. We're all around water. Well, Josh isn't, well, I guess he is kind of around water.
Yeah.
And Dana's not necessarily around water, but she inspires us to really push the message of drowning prevention. There's some staggering numbers. Texas is the #1 drowning in the country, has the #1 drownings in the country, and I think Dana's got some numbers too for currently this year. I was invited to join the Drowning Prevention Coalition by Josh. Josh and I met through an event we'd done at Texas Health in Burleson. Every year they do a safety fair, and that's where I met Josh. And Josh invited me to join the Burleson Drowning Prevention Coalition. We've been going a year now. I think it's been a year. And I sat down with Chief Freeman and we talked about where this whole Drowning Prevention Coalition and how we could continue to get that message out about how important it was for kids to learn how to swim and safety around the water. I was committed to getting kids swim lessons long before we started the Drowning Prevention Coalition. Allison and I have been partners in crime for about 4 years now, working within the school district. But when we sat down with Chief Freeman, we talked for about an hour, and then at the end of the conversation, Chief Freeman said something to me that has changed the way I look at what I do. I simply set up people with swim lessons. That's my main mission, is getting everybody swim lessons. But Chief Freeman said something at the end of our conversation, and he said, this coalition will be successful if I don't have to send out one of my guys to do CPR on a child that's already dead.
Right.
And that hit me in a place that I couldn't, it just changed the way I looked about swim lessons. Learning to swim, you kind of think about the fun side of it, but the whole drowning prevention, there's so many layers of things that happen. It's the lifeguards at the pool, it's the people at the ER, it's the fire department, the first responders. So that mission that I personally had became stronger than ever. And it really started when Allison and I started, we started up going K through 5. I just set it up. Allison did all the hard work.
Thank you, Allison.
And for 3 years, we went into the schools, the elementary schools, all 10, and talked about water safety. Then we added to that, and we invited every 5th grade class. Every kid in 5th grade came up to the brick. They came up for 2 hours, and we would do an evaluation, basically give them a report card, just to see where they were. And when we first started, I was running a swim team, competitive swim team. I had kids that could swim, and I figured we're going to evaluate about 1,000 kids. I thought we're going to find 5th graders. We're going to find a lot of kids that can swim. That's not what we found. Out of 1,000 kids, at least half of them had no business being in water.
Wow.
The scary part of that, probably about 400 of those 500, they think they can swim, and their parents think they can swim. And that was a staggering discovery for us, to find out that 5th graders, they're going to middle school. They're going to start going to pool parties and lakes and stuff where their parents aren't overseeing them. So that led us to trying to figure out how are we going to get kids swim lessons, which led us to the 2nd grade lessons. So we did a pilot with Norwood Elementary. We work really closely with Natalie, who's the head PE teacher of the Burleson ISD. And we did a pilot with her kiddos. So every 2nd grader in Norwood the first year came and did swim lessons. And the following year, which was last year, every single 2nd grader in Burleson was bussed up to the brick, and 1,000 kids got 4 hours of lessons. It's crazy, mad, wild. 100 kids at a time at the pool. Yes, 100 kids. And 2nd graders are really loud.
Yeah,
They're so fun. But after an hour of them being in the water, we had 10 to 12 instructors in the water, and then lifeguards on deck. And it was crazy and amazing. And we were very blessed to do it so that we could cover all grades. Because I think the problem is I think people are really busy. I think they're busy with other sports, and they're busy with other family commitments. And I think it's just getting missed, because we're finding kids. I had a 16-year-old come in last year, and he was on his way to ROTC camp. And when they're that old, I always need to find out kind of what level they're at. And this 16-year-old, I said, "Hey, buddy, will you hop in and show me, swim to the other end of the pool?" And he said, "No, ma'am." And I asked him to swim halfway, and he said, "I can't." And he towered over me. He was probably 6 foot tall. And he just looked at me, and I said, "Okay, so you can't swim at all?" And he said, "No, ma'am." And his dad looked at me, and he said, "I don't know how that happened. How did he goes, "I had no idea he couldn't swim." He goes, "We're just never around water," but we were able to. He did great. We worked one-on-one. He worked with one of our coaches for 3 weeks, and by the end of the 3 weeks, he was swimming.
Wow.
And was able to go on to ROTC camp, where it was a requirement. You had to be able to swim the length of the pool.
That's amazing. Well, good
So,
for him.
yeah.
That he actually he had the courage enough to
Yeah.
ask for help. So
Yeah.
that's good. That's amazing.
So, and then the second graders this year, we were unable to pull it off as far as all second graders getting it. We had 2 schools come. Hike Elementary, their PTO is pretty amazing. They've actually written it into their bylaws or their mantra, whatever it is, that they will pay every year for their second graders to get swim lessons. So they had 120 kids, and then Norwood Elementary, the Burleson Drowning Prevention was able to give them a grant, and they had, I think, 80 kids. So that gave us 200 of the 1,000, and when we sat down trying to figure out how are we going to get more kids those lessons, we came up with some Saturdays, and we just finished our second Saturday of lessons. We have 264 kids that are getting lessons, and that wouldn't be possible with, first of all, without this board, this coalition board, and we had a generous sponsor, Nissan Burleson and Honda Burleson. They, when asked if they wanted to sponsor some kids to get lessons, he wrote a check to sponsor all 264 kids.
Wow.
So we're pretty blessed to have them be in a community that feels the same way we do about making sure that kids learn to swim.
That's so important. Why did you end up with just second graders? Did you tell me that and I just missed it?
No,
Okay.
second graders, when we sat down with Natalie and figured out age-wise, third grade is a testing year, so taking away from instructional time, that was the #1 thing. And kindergarten and first graders, we just wouldn't do that to the teachers. It's honestly, there's kids that left at second grade that left with no underwear because they forgot their underwear, or just logistics. There's just no way we could go with that many kids all at the same time. There's no way we could have kindergarten or first grade.
Yeah. That's really smart, though. I mean, y'all really sat down and thought about it and said, okay, second grade, here we go.
Yeah. And they can sit on the wall. The second graders can sit on the wall and they can understand instruction and that kind of thing.
Now, these are kids that are presently in second grade right now, or are they the ones that are going into second grade?
They were second grade. So, but our Saturday lessons, we opened it up to first
and third.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. So when you decided to do this swim lesson, right? You incorporated the brick, and so inside the brick there's a heated pool. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that where you actually did the lessons at? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking if it's outside, I'd be freezing my tuchus
Oh.
off. Yeah. Yeah.
Indoor pool.
Yeah. Indoor pool. So I like that. So when the kids come, do they get bussed over during the? If you did it not only on Saturday, you did it during the week too, right? Or
Yes.
is it just Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay, you did it during the week. So how did they get there?
They bust them over.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the schools had to be on board with this, which is nice.
Yeah.
So did the teachers come with them, or did parents were parents requested to come, or how did that
We
work
actually asked parents to stay off deck.
out? Really?
Well, they're a distraction. They're a distraction to their. If the parents aren't there, the children pay attention to the instructors, which is important. They're there to learn how to swim.
Yeah, kids are always better for somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, that's interesting.
So I have a question. Like, I have a second grader. He grew up around the lake, so he knows how to swim, I would say. But would this be good for him to go to? Is it good for any kid that swims?
Yeah. Yeah,
You know
absolutely.
what I mean? Like, he thinks he's a strong swimmer, but what if an accident happens, or what
Right.
if this happens, or
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So just go ahead and put all of my kid, like, all of them.
It's safe to assume that, I'm sorry I just jumped in,
yeah.
but it's safe to assume if your child has been at the lake most of his life that he also depends a lot on a life jacket or has learned, and so it's really important for kids to learn to survive on their own without any kind of flotation device. So I would say every child should have some form of swim lessons, and this would be really beneficial for any kid, even if they've grown up around the water their whole life.
I mean,
then,
but I have him and 2 girls, and
Yeah.
they're 10 and 11 and 8, so this would be good for all of us. I would kind of want to do it. I'm not a strong swimmer, so.
Yeah.
I might also add that,
Yeah,
you know,
you
it's-
got it, Connie.
sometimes when people have learned how to swim, they have a false sense of confidence that they are drown proof. And what we've learned is that even strong swimmers can swim. So the more experiences they have to continue to build those skills and have safety responses if they maybe get into the middle of the water and have a lack of energy, how do they get back to shore or the side of the pool or wherever they are? The more experiences, the better.
But this would be also good for those, you know, for my friends, you know, my kids' friends who don't know how to swim. Let's say they're all at the swimming pool or whatever, and something happens to another kid. My kid would know how to help them, per se, and be, you know, cool.
So let me understand actually how this got started. The coalition, Josh, you actually started this coalition?
I did not start this coalition. Chief Freeman started this coalition.
Okay.
So Chief Freeman is a retired Fort Worth firefighter. He spent 38 years there. And over there, he helped start Peaks and Ladders with Cook Children's and Fort Worth firefighters. And so coming to Burleson, he carried those relationships over to us and got the Drowning Prevention Coalition started here.
Okay.
And as battalion chief, he kind of brought me in and put me over the community risk reduction type stuff. And so he's brought me along and kind of taught me the ropes up until this point. So.
That was nice of him to do that for you. Yeah. Is this like your favorite job ever?
You know, I really do enjoy it. Like, it's a much different aspect than traditional firefighting.
Right.
You know, it's not why I took the test, but this is the future of the fire service, and that's the direction we're headed. So there's a lot of aspects that go into community risk reduction, like fall prevention and different stuff like that. So it's different, it's new, and I've been enjoying it so far.
Good for you. How long have you been doing that?
The community risk reduction, probably 2 years. Yeah.
Very good. And then you met Coralie.
Correct.
Yes. And then Coralie got involved because you were a competitive swim coach, right?
And I was running lessons.
You were running lessons. So this is the passion of yours.
Yeah, it's kind of a funny story. I actually have a very uncomfortable relationship with the water myself.
Really?
My kids actually got into swim when they were 3 and 6, partly because of my fear of the water. I can swim, or I say I can not drown. When I was 10, I got put into swim lessons that was above my level, and the first day of swim lessons, I got fished out of the deep end by a lifeguard.
Wow.
I recall a cute lifeguard, and it's kind of stuck with me my whole life.
Yeah, you want them to be cute from afar. You don't want them to be cute that close in person.
Yes.
Right. I hear ya. So then your connection with Allison. So when y'all started this, then Allison came in. I'm trying to.
Well, actually, Allison and I've been doing this for a while.
Right.
We lease the pool, so we have a swim team at the Brick, and then we have also Texas Health Fitness Center on Wilshire, and then we've just added 2 more pools. We have one on 2200 Circle Drive, which is at the Tarrant County Resource Connection building just off of 20. And then this summer we'll be doing some lessons at Mistletoe Hill Community Center Pool. But Allison and I we've been partners in crime a long time. I think we've been at the Brick, I think it'll be 6 years this November.
Oh, wow.
That we've had the competitive team there.
Okay. And then who came in next?
So then we went to Josh.
Yeah, Dana was kind of a part of it from Chief Freeman's days back in Fort Worth.
Okay.
So she came on pretty early.
Yeah, she actually really was here before all of us.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You go, Dana.
Well, we started a drowning prevention campaign in 2015. We were working with specific cities. We were tracking data. We were looking at where are the patients coming to Cook Children's from. And a lot of times it was cities with a high volume of backyard pools. And so we kind of focused on those cities and kind of put together some strategies that cities could work on to create a healthier and safer environment around the water. And so the city of Keller and city of Arlington were the first cities we started with, and we thought, goodness, there's such a need to have this awareness in every city. I mean, we are a southern state, and drownings are typically lead in these southern regions, and so we said we've got to do more. So we reached out to cities and said, please come to Cook Children's and let's all talk about it at the same time. That was the way we could further our reach much quicker. And so City of Burleson, with Chief Freeman, goodness, they just jumped right in from the beginning and said, yes, what can we do? And so from those 2 cities over the last 2 years, now we have 40 cities in 7 counties. And
wow.
They're all really very inspired to do I can say the city of Burleson has just been incredible about making this truly a community, local commitment, and the residents see that, I'm sure of it.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's awesome. So Dana headed it up. That's awesome. And then how did the connection with Shannon and Marcy happen?
So one of my swim family parents messaged me. She's a little bit of a fan of Shannon's. And she screenshotted something Shannon had posted on her page. And she said, you should call her. You should get in touch with her. And I thought, what do I have to lose? So I sent Shannon a message, and I thought, she's not going to get back to me. And within 24 hours, she messaged me, and I said, hey, do you want to come and join us? And she was in the middle. I think you were in the middle of training, weren't you?
I honestly don't remember. I think you messaged me. It was around June, and I was starting the process of getting. I sound really loud. I was starting the process of getting signed up for certification for ISR and stuff. We have an online relationship. That's how we started. And I think you got my auto reply within 24 hours.
There you go.
Everybody gets that. Don't feel special, Coralie. But yeah, she invited me to one of the drowning prevention meetings, and I showed up, and their passion and the cause is one that's personal to me, so I was all about it.
You're right.
I'm excited to be a part of this group and know so many people that are genuinely doing things, not just talking about it, not just posting about it, but actually out there doing things to make a difference.
Right. So what made you decide to get your ISR certification?
My story is a sad one. You guys might need it.
I may need one.
You might. No. So back in 2011, my 2.5-year-old nephew was out in the backyard with his grandfather. They had a backyard pool. I don't know what they were doing exactly, but my nephew was riding around in his little motorized Jeep. My sister and her husband were inside the house and thought that everything was good because he was out back with Grandpa. And after a little bit, they realized they hadn't heard the Jeep in a little bit, so they went out to check on Ethan, is his name. And my sister and her husband found Ethan and his grandfather both in the pool. Both of them ended up in there somehow. We don't know what happened. And they pulled him out, gave him CPR, but it was unsuccessful. So in that one night, we lost 2 family members, one of which my 2.5-year-old nephew. And just everything about that is so haunting. You know, just remembering exactly what my sister said when she called and told me what happened. And, you know, how it was almost like an out-of-body thing, you know, where you're praying that it's a really bad dream or that my sister all of a sudden got a horrible, sick, distorted sense of humor and thought that somehow that might be funny. I didn't know what to do. Right. So I got dressed, got to the hospital as quickly as I could, praying that something would change in the drive. But when I walked in, they had already stopped with trying to resuscitate both of them. And so I got to see my 2.5-year-old nephew there on the table, lifeless. And you know, it's awful. It's horrifying, and it's something, you know, it's been almost 7 years now, and it's still as clear to me as it was 2 weeks after it happened. And you know, they had the fence around the pool. He was supervised, and you know, the last video that we have of Ethan is him in the pool with his full body flotation suit on, and he's as happy as can be. It's just when he got in the water without that, he had no idea what to do. And so my sister and her husband moved to Maui to kind of regroup and refresh, and they got pregnant with my now 3.5-year-old nephew Jake. And when they moved back to Texas, that was one of the first things that they said they needed to do was get him into lessons. And my sister did her research and found ISR. And with my schedule, I work in the mornings, or I used to have the days open. So I was able to take Jake to his lessons every day. And it was amazing to me to see what his instructor was able to do, to take this little boy who had no real, skills in the water and teach him how to save his own life if it ever came down to it. And so at that point, I just kind of looked into it to see what you needed to do to become a registered ISR instructor, and put together a GoFundMe to try and raise the money for it, because it is not cheap, but it's so worthwhile. And a couple months later, I got in the water and started my training and got certified last October, I think. So, you know, it's something I'm passionate about. I would love to get rich off of it, but I don't expect that.
Right.
More than anything, I really just want to try and teach as many kids as I can. And that's a conversation that I have with parents when they email me about lessons and they ask about costs. I'm like, well, this is what I quote, but I'm going to try my hardest to never turn a child away because parents can't afford lessons. That just doesn't seem, it doesn't help anybody to do that. So I love the fact that, you know, I have the support of the BRIC and this coalition to kind of make that possible. And, you know, it's rough. What I do is rough, I'm not going to lie. Kids scream, kids cry. I think I've got a little bit of whiplash on my neck right now from just starting lessons with them, but it's so worthwhile and so rewarding and such a cool thing to actually do. So that was a really long story, and I'm sorry.
I appreciate you sharing that. I did not cry, but I'm holding it back.
Oh, just give me a few minutes, and I'll say something.
No, because I had a nephew that I lost at 19 months old, so we'll talk about that later. But I can totally relate to what you went through. So,
yeah, it's awful.
Yeah, it's awful. It sucks. I'm just going to go ahead and say it.
We have an important question I want to ask.
Yes.
So Andrea says, I can't listen this morning, but I want to know if swim instructors do special needs or autism lessons. The Autism Society reports that over 90% of children that drown in the U.S. are on that spectrum. Have a great morning, guys. So, is there anything special for autistic children?
We work with kids of, we have all kinds of special needs kids that work with us. Autists, we don't treat them any different. We try to,
I love that.
We work towards their needs. A lot of those kids have sensory issues. You know, we take those things into consideration. But we have a little girl who, probably one of my favorite stories of our 5th grade evaluations, she's paralyzed from the waist down. And she's actually now swimming on our swim team. You know, she came to us, she learned how to swim, and she now swims butterfly.
Wow.
But autism, we have lots of kids with ADD and ADHD. We really have it all. It just depends on exactly this specific kid. I know Shannon's worked with some special needs kids as well. One of my favorite things about the water, it doesn't see special needs. It doesn't see disabilities. It only sees abilities. So we just work around
with everybody.
Yeah, and water tends to be really good for kids that
have any kind of needs.
Yeah,
it's good for everybody.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
Yeah. Young kids and old kids, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, by the way.
Oh, sure.
Oh my goodness. So Marcy here, and Marcy is part of Jellystone Park, and you'll have a huge pool. So how did you get involved with all of this amazing cause?
Well, 3 years ago, we became a part of it's through the World Water Park Association, and it's the world's largest swim lesson. So that first year when we kicked off, we offered it to our campers it was a day in mid-June, which this year's event we are participating in again is on June 21st. But that first year, you know, we had probably 25 kiddos and their parents were there. But again, it's always good to have the parents off deck, you know, away from influencing the children, because you get this mommy thing, or you know, well, depending on the age group. But you are right, the kids do better without their parents.
Right.
But we did that first year. We had, you know, 25 kids, and as we've done it each year, it's grown. Last year was double. We had right about 50 kids that were in the water, different age groups. We did everything from I know we had a couple of 2-year-olds in there, and then we had some older kids, you know, 10, 11, 12-year-olds. So, you know, you're right about parents are not for sure if their kids can swim, because I even had a couple of parents say, you know, I think they need this. They didn't know. I mean, and you even made comment,
I
Tiffany,
mean, my
that
kids can
you
swim, but
think
I think they need it. I mean, if not, they need it to help somebody else. If they see another kid that's, you know, at the pool. So, I'm taking my kids. It's already given.
Anyway, we're doing it again this year. Now, last year, Burleson Fire Department, Sigma Swim was involved. Sigma offered swim instructors for the swim lesson, the largest swim lesson, and then we also had aqua tots in. So we had quite a large number of instructors. So, you know, not even, it was probably a 3-to-1 ratio for kids. So that was a great opportunity to get more than maybe in your situations. You've got 264 kids, you're trying to herd them all through, so you know you got even a little more personalized instruction for that one. But you know, it's just one lesson. It's an event to bring awareness to the public that there is the need for these children to have the ability to swim. But we are doing it again this year, and this year's event is on June 21st. And we'll start at 9 in the morning. It will be open to the public. We will be putting the event sign up on our Facebook page for North Texas Jellystone Park. That will open up on May 1st. So you have from May 1st through roughly that week, that Monday before the 21st to sign up. We do need to get a good head count. We won't turn anyone away at the entrance, but we would like to have sign-ups so we can get everybody segregated and know what we need.
Right. Is there a fee associated with that?
No, it is
it's
free.
Free to the public.
It is free.
And it's open to anybody in anywhere.
Right.
Not just Burleson. It's
and we're not the only facility doing it. There are other facilities in the DFW complex that are doing it, but it is worldwide that entire day, and they register. Everyone registers their numbers. And actually, I don't even remember what the number was last year, but it was large.
Was it?
But each year it does grow.
That's amazing. So they're there at 9 a.m. and then how long does it last?
Roughly 30 minutes. Okay. And we take them through a sequence. The instructors are guided through the different phases of the lesson, and it is all simultaneous.
And then do they get to stay for the rest of the day, or do they leave?
No, they leave, and they can re-enter the park, but we give them certificates.
I was hoping to stay. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we have to get everybody out to make sure everybody's safe, and then we open it as the water park.
Got it. That's interesting.
For safety.
I love that. I love that y'all are doing that. I mean, it's a community-wide event, so I think it's important that everybody take their kid there June 21st. Go for that free swim lesson, and then pay to get in and stay the rest of the day. Because it's an amazing park, Pirates Cove. My grandson and I go on a regular basis, so thank you.
Well, and they do get entry. The kids that complete that lesson, they do get entry for the day.
Oh, very good. See, all worthwhile. And is there an age limit to that?
No.
No, you can be 16 years old and still come and take the swim class. I love that. Now the swim classes that y'all offer through Sigma, it's not just one time.
Correct. Our swim lessons are a little bit different than traditional lessons. They're year round. So they go month to month. They swim twice a week for 45 minutes. And our ratios are really small. In our regular lessons, they're 1 to 3. So your kids are getting a lot of time in the water with the instructor.
That's important, though.
Yeah.
You know, I remember when I was a kid, we had swim lessons at the rec center, and the parents would take us and drop us off. And I just remember falling in and not really knowing for sure if I was going to come to the top or not. So, but they would just let you fall in and then float to the top and hope you made it, right? So, I don't know if
we don't do that.
Thank you. I just remember I'm just not sure if I'm going to make it to the top. I did, right? That's pretty much what it was, Marcy. It was sink or swim. Yeah. So, I don't know how well the swim lessons were back then, and compared to what they are now, they've obviously changed, and y'all have a little bit more direction and one-on-one, hand-on experience with these children. So, thank you for doing that.
Of course.
Yeah, that's great.
I might comment too that swim lessons now, they kind of start with teaching kids the initial skills, life skills on how to rescue themselves. And one thing I wanted to mention, I know y'all said, if you get swim lessons, then you can help other kids in the pool. But I wanted to share a little phrase that sometimes we use is reach, throw, don't go. We actually don't want kids to help other kids in the pool if they're in distress. We want them to get a lifeguard or another adult, because oftentimes if a child is in distress, they're going to be panicking, and if a child tries to help them, they're going to get pulled under too, and then you might have more than one drowning occurring at the same time. So those are some of the things that they're learning with the initial swim lessons, is what to do and what not to do, and how and who to get help from.
Right.
Very
No,
good to know.
that's important, you know, because I would just scream, help. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure that's what a lot of kids would do too. Is just stand there and scream, and hopefully somebody would pay attention to them, and Shannon would come to their rescue and help them out, right?
So
you would
the
think.
REACH
Yeah.
stands for if you have something even a pool noodle, you can reach out to them that they can grab on. You can pull them to the side. Reach, throw. You can throw them something to hold on to until an adult or a lifeguard can get to them. And don't go. So don't go
Don't go
in
after
and
them.
try to help them get an adult.
Oh, I love that. So everybody should have that posted. If they have a pool, they should have that sign
Reach,
posted
throw.
somewhere, right? Reach, throw, don't go. I love that. Well, we need to take a commercial break because we've been on here for a little bit. So we're going to take a break as soon as Tiffany gives me the go-ahead. And we're going to come right back. Now, our show has been sponsored by Toyota, Family Toyota Burleson. So we're excited to have them as a partner here at JoCo Community Radio. And
We're gonna go back on Facebook.
oh, you ready? I just want to make sure we cover all bases. So.
And we're back on Facebook.
Hello, Facebook.
20 seconds.
20 seconds, and then we're going to be back on the TuneIn app. I appreciate y'all being here this morning.
Thank you.
And Dana, you
Yes, thank
said
you
something
for
at
having us.
8:30, is that right? Okay, cool. So when you're ready, just open the door. We can take, no, you don't have to. You just say, everybody, bye, I'm leaving. Don't be quiet.
Okay.
Dana's off to do car seat safety checks after
Awesome.
this.
Hey, we're back. JoCo Community Radio back here, sponsored by Family Toyota Burleson. I always forget to say it, so I'm so excited. It's a new partner of ours, so we're excited that they've decided to partner with us. And we're here talking about the Drowning Coalition. Did I say that correctly?
Drowning Prevention Coalition.
Drowning Prevention Coalition, right? So I can only hear out of one ear, so I apologize. But we're talking about how many children have been affected by drownings yearly. Do y'all have that number again?
I do. Well, I have numbers from Cook Children's. Of
Okay.
course, kids and families go to other systems too, but majority, over 50%, maybe 60, come to Cook Children's to be treated. Each year, we are seeing about 80 drownings each year, which is just incredibly high.
Right.
And typically, the fatalities or deaths is about 5. Last year, we had 5 deaths associated with drownings, and the year before 10. So
Wow.
we want to get down to 0. But
yeah.
it's also important to mention that the injuries associated with drownings can be life-changing for a family too.
Right.
So every child is important to think about what they can and cannot do around water. The risk area is typically 1 to 4-year-olds,
Right.
and mostly around pools. But when you get to the older ages, it's going to be children around the lakes. And so even though the majority of drownings do occur in pools, about 50% of the deaths occur in open water, lakes, ponds. And in Texas, we have everything. We have ponds, we have lakes, we have tanks in the back of our property sometimes. So there's a lot of water. And if you think about developmentally kids who are just learning how to walk and they're unstable on steady ground, if you put them in water, then there's just not much chance that they're going to be able to be safe unless there's an adult right there in reach.
Right.
You know, I'm sorry.
No, go.
I was looking at statistics a couple weeks ago, and I think it was the end of March, there were already 12 drownings in the state of Texas this year.
Yes.
And you know, you think March, it's still winter, it's
Right.
cold out, you're not around water nearly as much as you are during the summertime. And they had where I saw the information, they had a breakdown, and I think all but 2 of the deaths were kids under the age of 4 or under. And there were even a couple of bathtub drownings.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think about a puddle of water can be dangerous. The toilet can be dangerous for your child. I mean, any situation where there is standing water or enough water for the child to get into is dangerous for them. I don't think we think about that, you know.
Yeah.
We see it as a summertime thing, and yet there are mostly drownings between Memorial Day and Labor Day because that's when we're in and around the water, but drowning knows no season, it knows no age, it knows no anything. And like she said, it is silent.
Since January, Cook Children's has treated 10 drownings already.
Wow.
We've had 3 deaths, and a higher number for some reason are associated with bathtubs, but most of these are pools. 2 of them in January were pools. Not always are the pools closed down because we sometimes keep pools open all year round in Texas.
Right.
So Shannon was absolutely right. This happens year round. We need to be thinking about it all year round, not just Memorial Day to Labor Day.
Right. No, I think that's important. That's a great message to send out there. You know, be aware of that. Now, there is a website that we can go to.
Yes, if you go to lifeguardyourchild.org, that's something that all of our partners were working together to make sure no matter what water you're talking about, whether it's pools or lakes, lifeguard your child. Sometimes even at a park that might have lifeguards, you can still have a child drown. There are lots of barriers that parents can't always see. And sometimes our backyard pools look like a beautiful oasis where we just want to relax. But it should just be the opposite when you have kids around water. We need to be on alert and lifeguard our child. Make sure even if there are lifeguards, you're still watching your child. It just takes a second. Drowning is silent. You won't hear it. They can't catch a breath. So it's not like what you're going to see on TV.
Yeah, and it's not like glancing up from your Facebook feed every now and then because you're on your cell phone while you're outside with the kids. It's putting the phone down and they get your undivided attention. And you do segmented supervision where you if you have more than one adult, you don't let anybody be responsible for watching the kids for more than 10-15 minutes, and then you switch off. And if you don't, then get the kids out of the water, take a break, give yourself a break, you know, kind of clear your head. And that's really the only way that you can ensure keeping your kids safe, is your undivided attention, and completely putting everything else out of your side of view, so that the kids in the water is really all that you see and all that you're paying attention to.
And one of the coolest things we have is called a Water Watcher tag. So it's a little tag you put on your wrist. It's a little bracelet, and it designates an adult just for about 10 or 15 minutes to watch the kids actively without any distraction from cell phones or other conversations. You're watching the heads in the pool, and then after 10 or 15 minutes, you hand that tag off to another adult. It's their turn. So it's a really easy way to make sure someone's always watching. Many times we have families come into the emergency room and they thought somebody was watching. Everybody always thinks somebody's watching,
Right.
when really nobody's watching. And
Like
so
an
the Water
accountability
Watcher tag
tag.
is definitely a very helpful tool.
I like that. I like that. I think I should have an accountability tag for certain tasks I do. So I think that's important. I love that. I love that idea too.
Yeah.
What a great idea. Who thought of that? Was that you, Dana?
Well, no, I can't take credit for that. They're used nationwide. I can say that we've distributed 200,000 to our partners, and so Burleson has them to provide to the kiddos this year. We want really to the adults. These go to the adults. I really just want to correct that, because it's something we want the adults to use and be in practice of.
Yes, you all provided them for us last year for our lifeguards to use, and we did actively use those last summer.
That's awesome. How many lifeguards do y'all have at Jellystone Park?
Oh wow, we typically in summer peak out between 115 to 120.
Do you really?
Yeah,
That's
a grueling job. You know, you think it's a glamorous job, but it's not. It's
No, they
you're out
work
there in the
really
heat.
hard.
You're out there in the heat and you're staring at the water. You know, so we switch them out a lot. And they rotate. They're on rotations. We keep them hydrated. You know, it's a tough job to be out there.
And y'all do a really good job with them, because, like I said, I've been out there the last couple of summers with my grandson, and they're always yelling at me for something. But it's because, you know, they're doing their job. So, you know, they're like, pay attention, do this, you know, because I'm the accountability partner over there. I'm like, I've got to watch him at all times. And kids are crazy.
Yeah.
They are crazy. They are daredevils.
Yes.
They do crazy stuff.
Yes.
They jump off the edge when they're not supposed to. That's where they get yelled at.
Hey, y'all, watch this.
Yeah, yeah. And then the next thing you know, they're, you know,
Hit their head.
they're hit their head and they're in a bad space. So, yeah, y'all are doing a great job out there. So thank you. I appreciate that. Now, Allison, we really haven't talked to you much, so I'm going to make you talk a little bit. Is that okay with you?
Yeah,
So you're a part of the BRIC.
I am.
And what is your title over there?
I'm the assistant recreation manager.
The assistant recreation manager. So do you oversee all of the swim lesson stuff, or do you work with somebody else over there?
I'm directly over both of the pools,
Uh-huh.
and then we contracted out with Sigma, so they run our swim lessons now.
Very good. So you deal directly with Coralie then?
I do.
Yeah?
Mhm.
That's fun. So in any one summer, how many kids do you think actually go through the BRIC and participate in the swim classes?
In swim lessons,
Uh-huh.
last summer,
250?
yeah,
Roughly
200 to
250
300.
in
Now,
the summer.
Out of those 250, how many kids actually participate with the pool that maybe didn't participate in the swim classes? You have 250 people participating in the swim class. How many people go to your pool on a regular basis through the summer?
Oh goodness.
Do you have any idea?
I mean, we run our own summer camp at the BRIC, and we can have 150 kids in camp. Those kids are coming to the pool every day, and that's just camp.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have daycares that will bus out kids, any groups from 30 to 100.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that could be 100 or 250, 300 right there,
Mhm.
not counting the public that's coming in. So, and that's just each day. So
That's a lot of people.
yeah.
So how many lifeguards do y'all have on duty at any one time? Do you have that number?
Actually on stand.
Yeah.
The indoor pool will have anywhere from 10 to 12 rotating.
Mm-hmm.
When that one's open, the outdoor pool, we'll have 6 guards out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to keep a staff in the summer of around 50 lifeguards.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. And are the parents cooperative enough to watch their own kids, you think? Or do they just kind of leave them, drop them off, and go on about their business?
It's a mix.
Yeah.
We'll have kids that are literally dropped off at the brick,
Mm-hmm.
who come to play in the basketball courts, and then they'll be in and out of the pool.
Mm-hmm.
And we do allow kids to be, their parents in the building at 10, but they can be in the pool area.
Mm-hmm.
It is always best, though, if the parents are there watching their children.
Right.
The lifeguard on stand has a big area to watch, or a zone, so their heads are rotating as they're covering their zone. And
Right.
if a child goes under right here and they're looking this way and they're working their way back, if that parent sees that child first
Mm-hmm.
and is able to grab the kid up, that's just that much better,
Right.
that much quicker.
So the more eyes, the better off you are. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
So yours is a community pool for the most
Yes.
part, but then we also have individual people that are putting pools in on a regular basis, daily, right? So Josh, so you have all these pools going in. We are in Texas. Everybody here desires to have a pool in their backyard.
Right.
I know I do. I just don't want to pay for it. But a lot of people will go through the expense of getting these pools in. But do they take the right precautions once the pool is put in place?
A lot of that is defined by city ordinance, and I believe it's North Richland Hills that updated theirs and has kind of set the standard towards something that I think every city should work towards as far as pool ordinances. But there are websites and checklists that you can go check out to kind of see different layers of protection, and if you really want to optimize the safety and prevent a tragedy happening, there are those checklists that you can go online and find and utilize at your own home.
There you go. What kind of extremes have people gone through to protect their family members from any kind of drownings in their pools?
Well, I think one of the key things around a pool is a four-sided fence. If families would have a four-sided fence, that would reduce drownings, they say 60 to 80%, because it prevents a child from being able to get there unless they can climb over it or something. If it is an enclosed pool, it's much harder for these smaller children to get to. What we often see in Texas is there's a three-sided fence, and the fourth side is the house, and so they have an entry point or an exit point. So maybe the child is not supposed to be at the pool, maybe they're taking a nap, and we're doing chores in the house, the child gets outside, and they find themselves in the pool without anybody knowing that they're even out there, and that's often the case. It's hard to help a child when you don't know they're out there needing help.
Right. I know when my daughter was younger, when she was 6 months old, I actually was able to put her into swim lessons. Is that recommended nowadays, or how do y'all feel about that?
Well, I can say the American Academy of Pediatrics says that when a parent feels like their child, because every child is so different, when they feel that their child is ready, then to go ahead and try it. It used to be at 4 years old, but with the risk area being highest at 1 to 4, they say they have relaxed that statement, and swim lessons at younger ages are most appropriate. But then they don't want to really designate a specific age whenever the parent thinks the child's ready.
That's good advice.
Shannon works with kids starting at 6 months old.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I don't teach the same thing that Coralie and her group does. I tried to get in the water with them this past Saturday for the swim lessons, and I was completely out of my comfort zone. But I do ISR, Infant Swimming Resource, and it's self-rescue. So we can start with kids as young as 6 months, and before they're able to walk and stuff, I can teach them how to get on their back and float until help comes. So we do different simulations of falls into the water, and I teach them how to roll back and float. We do a test at the end of their lessons in summer clothes, and then another one in winter clothes, because like I said, drowning doesn't know a season.
Right.
Just to make sure that they can handle the excess weight. And then with older kids, we do the full swim, float, swim sequence. So swim till you get tired, roll back, float, rest, breathe, and then flip back over and swim to safety. So I do 6 months to 6 years is the age range of kids that I teach. And it's awesome. It's so cool to see a 6-month-old that can't even necessarily walk yet be able to roll back onto their back and maintain a float for as long as they need to. You know, I was talking to my master instructor, the woman that trained me in ISR a couple weeks ago, and she was telling me about a kid, and she said it was in Burleson. I'm not sure because she's not from here and she gets her cities mixed up. But she was telling me about a firefighter that pulled one of our instructors aside, and he said, "Your program is really awesome." And he was telling her about a call that they got. A grandmother was watching her toddler. And I can't explain the rationale that this woman had in saying this, but she thought that the toddler had just gone to play hide and seek and fallen asleep. And so she didn't go looking for him. Well, come to find out, the toddler had gotten into the backyard pool and was there. By the time firefighters got there, they took his core temperature. They said that he had probably been floating on his back for an hour to an hour and a half. So that kid knew to get back and just stay there. Just stay on his back until somebody got there to help. And then at that point, the biggest thing they had to worry about was his temperature and bringing it back up. But by later that day, he was back home and back at it again.
What an amazing story.
Wow.
It's crazy. The capability that these kids have, you know, they can't even feed themselves yet necessarily, but, you know, if you get them in the water and you get them the right training, we can teach them to save their own lives.
That is amazing. Now, are y'all telling parents, like at doctor's offices, when they take their kids into the doctor's offices, is there any kind of information out there about drowning prevention at the doctor's offices?
Well, I can speak for Cook Children's when they go to the pediatrician for their well checks. They have a certain amount of questions around safety that we ensure that they have and ask routinely, whether it's a car seat. They also ask, have you put your child in swim lessons? I'll tell you, we've had so many drownings come in. Cook Children's is very sensitive to it. They want to make sure people are getting swim lessons, that people are staying safe, and they're doing everything that they can to get the messages out. This can happen to anyone, any family.
Right.
And they've seen a lot. It touches every physician, every nurse, every clinician when the drowning comes in. And I think it was last year we had probably 10 come in a week.
Wow.
And they just said no more. We've got to do more to let people know what is happening.
Right.
Because not every family sees that. We see it, and we're there to treat, and we're always there for families, but we'd much rather prevent it. We'd much rather have them stay safe at home.
Oh my goodness, of course.
You know, you were talking about those tags,
Yeah.
wristbands. Jared, one of our listeners wants to know where we can get those.
You can come to the brick. I've
Okay.
got them.
Okay, cool.
Y'all hear that? Go to the break.
Go to the break.
Go to the break. I love it.
Yeah, they
That's
have
awesome.
sweet
Thank
little
you.
bracelets for the kids too. They're helpful reminders that say "Lifeguard me" around water. So the message is there for children. The message is there for the adults with the water watcher tag. So everybody will get something.
Very cool.
Awesome.
And we have a really cool Clifford the Big Red Dog book for the kids about water safety.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah,
Do y'all read that to them, or we're
I don't. Allison's our reader.
Allison? You read you read that to them? That's exciting,
Yes.
though. So, in this book, does it describe what for the child to do when they get into a situation where they can't get out of, or?
No, it's more just about opening the door to the conversation. You know, it talks about Clifford going with Elizabeth, I think is her name, the little girl, to watch her last day of swim lesson and see the things that she learned. It has a few little water safety tips in it, but it's really just opening the door to the other materials that we have. We have a flip book that Cook's provided us that you know, it'll say which picture is safer, and
Right.
so we'll talk about the different flotation devices and staying away from the drain in the pool and making sure you have an adult watching you before you go swimming. That kind of thing. So
Very cool. What is the drain in the pool? What does that do? Does it have a suction? Is that the problem with the drain in the pool?
it
Yeah.
can catch your clothes or your hair. So it's not safe for kids to be swimming.
Don't go all the way down to the bottom of the pool and get near the drain.
Yeah.
I get it. I think we used to do that when we were little.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that. That's crazy. Well, I think this is such an important message. How else can we help you get the word out? Aren't y'all participating in the Be Healthy event?
Yes,
Okay.
we're always.
I
I
sit
know,
on the
right?
Be Healthy Burleson board.
Okay, I thought you
I'm the
did.
vice chair. Yeah.
Right.
Actually, will not be at the run because we're busy doing swim lessons. We have 2 more weeks of swim lessons for the big group of kids that are doing Saturdays.
Very good.
But if anyone has like an organization or something they want me, Coralie, any of us to come out and share this information, go over the layers of protection, they can contact me or Coralie directly and we can set that up for sure.
Do y'all have an email that you want them to contact you at, or a phone number, or how do you?
I can give my email. It's just, we can put it on there. It's Coralie@sigmaswimming.org.
And Sigma is SIGMA.
Yes, ma'am.
Coralie.
Yeah.
CORALEE.
Yeah.
CORALEE. You could write a song
We,
like that.
we're all going to Mom May,
May 2nd?
and then we also have the safety fair at, are we doing it at Nissan or Honda? At Burleson Honda on the,
May 26th from 11 to 3.
May 26th from 1
Yeah.
to 3. You'll have a booth set up out there?
That is the fire department safety fair.
Okay.
I think the guys talked about
Yeah.
it last week.
Yeah.
So it'll be, we'll do an extrication demo where we cut up a car. We'll have the brick out there. We'll have Safe Kids out there. We'll have drowning prevention information, car seat information, hyperthermia, fall prevention. So we'll have a kind of an array of safety items out there.
Very good. Yeah, that's important. My husband had to wear one of those fall prevention bracelets while he was at the hospital one time. He had no idea he was going to fall, but they put one on him just to make sure. There's nothing really wrong with him, but he wanted to wear the bracelet anyway. So, yeah, fall prevention bracelets. I love that. I think everybody should have one. So this is an important message, and I appreciate y'all sharing this with me, but we do need to take another commercial break. Are you ready for that, Miss Tiffany? So we're going to take a break.
Pass a certain milestone within their lessons.
Oh,
So
very
it's
cool.
a Pirates Cove incentive to come out for the day.
Okay.
Just a little rewarding, you know,
Yeah.
getting pumped up about doing it.
Yeah.
We are back on Facebook.
Hello, Facebook. We're back on Facebook. We're excited to be here tonight.
We are back on JoCo in the Morning with Tiffany Cooch.
Connie Little and our special guest here in the studio. Oh, there's so many of y'all. I'm just so excited that y'all are here, and we're talking about drowning prevention. Did I say that right?
Yep.
I have a cold, so my head is like, I hear things going on in my head, but I don't know if they're coming out of my mouth correctly. So thank y'all. So Dana, you were talking about some different things that you have going on at Cook's and the CPR with Josh. Can we kind of touch a little bit more on that and educate the parents a little bit more about what they should be doing and being aware of?
Absolutely. So now, we've been educating all morning, which is wonderful. We know the importance of the education because it changes from nice to know to need to know.
Right.
But now that we've been educating all morning, we can offer a new incentive. Again, we want to keep drowning prevention in the minds of families all year round. So Cook Children's has a new club. It's called a Water Safety Club. And so if the viewers, listeners would go to watersafetyclub.org, they can sign up to be a Water Safety Club member. And what that offers is every month we're going to have a new incentive all year round to keep that in the thought of families. They can go in and see what's the new incentive each month. The first month is going to be free water safety lessons from our incredible partners like Sigma Swimming and others who have offered their time, and Cook Children's is going to help pay for those swim lessons, so it's free for the family. The next month might be free life jackets. The following month might be non-certified CPR lessons. And that's something that we've really worked with our partners like Josh to make sure that families are learning if an emergency does happen, what do you do?
Right.
And so he might want to share a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so last Saturday was our first Saturday of free swim lessons at the Brick with our second graders. And like Coralie said, they prefer the parents not to be on deck. So we try to occupy the parents and take them in the other room and teach them hands-on CPR. I think we taught about 80 parents that day. The fire department is also teaching all the city employees of Burleson actually certified CPR. So at any given time, there's several hundred people running around the city that know CPR. We also do hands-only CPR at a lot of the events. We'll probably have it at our safety fair. And anytime anybody contacts us and requests and we're able to honor that request, we'll come out and do it at an event also. We do it at the world's largest swim lesson also.
Very good. Now you talked also, we mentioned life jackets. So there's good life jackets and there's bad ones. How do we know which ones are the right ones for our kids?
Yeah, I think all of us probably have something to share on that, but we see so much when we go to the store to gear up for the water, to get into the water. And so there are those little floaties you put on the arms. I think all of us have probably had those on our arms at one point.
Yeah, the ones you blow up yourself.
The blow up ones that fit on the arms. For one thing, those can become deflated, but the other thing is it might hold up your arms but not your head, and that's what you need to breathe. You need to be able to keep the head above water. So whichever selection you make of what you put on your child, you have to look at a label. This time it's really important to read the label and make sure it's U.S. Coast Guard approved. If it doesn't have that label, you can't be confident that it's going to keep a child's head above the water where they can breathe if they became into distress at all. So sometimes you can look at two products and they look exactly the same, and they might have the water wedges sewn into a little suit for a child, but if you look at the label, it'll say not a life-saving device. So the difference is, if you look, it will tell you if it's a life-saving device or if it's U.S. Coast Guard approved, and then it's got to be about the fit. So they have different fits, and you have to make sure it's one that's going to fit the child. I think most life jackets go from like 0 to 30, then 30 to 50, and so on. But every child is shaped differently, so you have to make sure it's a proper fit too.
That's interesting. That's so important. We've talked a lot about swimming pools, and we've even mentioned bathtubs, but we haven't talked about lakes. It's boating season is right around the corner, so there's a lot of people, and every year, inevitably, you're going to hear about somebody losing their life at a lake. And you cannot see below that water. Typically, you can't see what's underneath the water. So is there any advice that you can give for parents if they're going out on the lake? Use the proper flotation devices, right? You always want to make sure your kid has your life jackets on. But you always see people out there with those without the life jackets. So can you kind of touch and tell us how important is that for even a small child that's in a boat? How important is it for them to put that life jacket on?
That's the law.
Thank
so
you, Shannon.
it's kind of a big
and they're
deal.
going to be pulled over if they don't have it on, right?
Yeah, I mean you can't put your kid in a boat and assume that nothing's going to happen to you. I think that's the worst thing that anybody can do, is assume that you're immune to it, because you're not. And I would rather you hear us preach to you for 2 hours solid than you go out there and find out otherwise the hard way. It's a lesson nobody should learn. But, like they said, don't do anything inflatable. Those pool floaty arm things are the devil.
Right.
I mean, they give kids such a false sense of security. Kind of like my nephew, I told you guys, they think they can do, I mean, they can mostly stay up when they've got the armbands on, but then when they don't, or they don't want to wait for the parents to get them done, they jump in, and before you know it, it's too late. So obviously it's really important to have flotation devices on your kid at the lake. That does not include a pool noodle. It's funny to see how many people depend on a pool noodle to stay afloat. Those, even though they're not inflatable, also not a life-saving device. At least I don't think they are. I've not bothered looking that up. I just assumed that it was
I
fact.
don't even think it has a label on them anywhere.
Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah.
But even then, I mean, you can't depend on anything other than your supervision and your child's skills ultimately to save their life. And like you guys were saying, the fit of the life jackets, I can't tell you how many times when I was little I would get out in the lake. I grew up going camping every weekend at the dirty lake where you couldn't see your feet and within 3 inches of the surface of the water. But I can't tell you how many times I've almost slid out of the life jacket.
Yeah.
So as a parent, you've got to do everything in your power to make sure that not only that you're giving your child what they need, but also the right fit and I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Like, there's so many things that spin in my head when it comes to this, and I get so upset when I go to a pool and I see kids just running around while the parents are drinking beers, talking to their friends, and not paying any kind of attention to the kid. And kind of off subject, but that's one of the things that I really love about the Brick. And I don't live in Burleson. I live in Coppell. So, it's a drive, but it's a very worthwhile drive for me because they really go above and beyond for everybody in the facility. They have lifeguards on deck if there's anybody in the water, even if that means getting there 4 hours before the pool opens that day. I mean, they're really diligent with that, and they do rotations so that nobody's in the same spot for too long. So, there are people that just drop their kids off. I know this for a fact because they come and talk to me while I'm doing lessons at the pool. But given that situation, if you're just going to drop your kid off, I got to give the Brick credit for doing a fantastic job of keeping kids safe. And that speaks to your passion, Allison. So good job to you.
Thank you.
And I don't even remember what you asked. I honestly, I can just go on for the next 45 minutes if that's okay. But no, the Brick they really do an awesome job. And at the end of the day, it's up to you and your kid. That's it.
Right. Be responsible.
Be responsible.
Get that bracelet. Get that little.
You were not immune. That's all I could. You were not.
Just follow the rules.
Right.
I'll say there's no better voice to listen to than those who have lost a child to drowning, like Shannon has lost family members. We have a lot of family members who are part of our Coalition Lifeguard Your Child campaign, and the lifeguardyourchild.org, they will have videos from our families. So if you want to go hear those strong messages, some of them are directly lake related. And whether the child is in a boat or outside of the boat, there's dangers because kids, especially toddlers, they're top heavy. They have these big old heads and they're unsteady, and so they're looking up along the side of the boat into the water looking for fish or what have you. It's easy for them to fall in. So those life jackets are really important. But then when they're in the water by the boat, sometimes they're way too close to the boat.
Right.
Sometimes we don't think about that. We think we want to stay near the boat for safety, but think about all the things around the boat. You have a motor. We have a lot of children across the nation who are caught in those motors, and even if they have a life jacket on, they have straps and things that aren't always pulled to be secure around the child. They kind of are they click them in, but they don't pull them snug. And what can happen is that those can get caught in anything under the water that you can't see, in the boat motor. So there's a lot of different things to be aware of. Just know your environment,
Right.
and don't feel overly safe is stay alert.
Right. Yeah, because it could be you. Let's hope it's not, right? So let's talk about celebrating these kids that successfully go through the swim lessons and what they get out of that and the confidence that they gain by being able to do these things. Do y'all see that in these children?
Boy, you hit that right there, the confidence. I say all the time about some of the kids that come in, I wish I'd filmed them at the beginning and then filmed them a few months. The bigger kids are actually the ones that are the neatest to see, whether they've come to us because we have one that's in the second grade lesson that actually swam with us last summer, and Brandon, he was at the Brick for years. He's probably taught half of the people in Burleson how to swim.
Yeah.
He had worked with us, and now he's gone on to the Coast Guard.
Oh, wow.
And it took him 3 weeks to get this little girl, I think she's 10. She was not getting in the water. She was not happy. And now, when she showed up the first day at the Brick, she came bebopping in, and she had a smile on her face. She was terrified when she first came to us. And that's not uncommon. The older you get little kids that are terrified too.
Right.
There's other things there, but when they get older, that thought of getting into the water, but the celebrating, we do a lot of celebrating when they learn to float, because it's a big accomplishment. It's, it's not an easy task to learn, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. But we're really excited about what Pirates Cove is giving to kids that are learning to swim, because it's giving us one more thing it's a tangible.
Right. Marcy, what is that? What do they get?
Well, it's a nice little certificate. It's like a way to go certificate. And the folks, depending on who's doing it, they'll fill it out. And it's something that they can, mom can frame it for them, but they can use it also as an entry to get into Pirates Cove for the day. But it's just kind of a celebration. Hey, now I don't have to be scared.
Right.
I've learned how to do this, and it's not quite, I still say, they may have had the swim lessons at those younger ages, but mom, don't go hands off with them. But
right.
It's a fun way to celebrate. I've made this milestone. The floating is, like you said,
What a
the
great
floating.
reward.
Yeah.
Reward these kids for learning all this stuff, and what better than to go to the water park and enjoy the water. That's incredible.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
All of our Saturday lesson kiddos on the fourth day, once they're finished, we've kept the parents off deck, and I keep promising them every week, I promise you, we're going to let you come on the fourth day and let you take pictures and videos, and a couple of them have tried to sneak on, and I'm like, no, you can't be out here. But on the fourth day, the parents will get to come out and see what they're doing, and then they'll also get the certificate so that they get to go to the water park.
That is so exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So does that include, so if you have a family, let's say for instance you have a family and it's got 4 or 5 kids in the family, and all of them need to take swim lessons, do you separate them or do you keep them together?
That's a good question. We typically, the summer lessons in the Brick, we're there from 9:15 to 12:15 in the morning.
Right.
And we have 10 to 12 instructors in the water. So I work really hard, being a mom myself, I work really hard to make sure that all the kids can swim at the same time. Everybody's busy. So if I can keep one parent there with 4 kids in 45 minutes rather than them having to be there at 2 separate times, we try hard to do that. Doesn't always work, but majority of the time they can all swim at the same time.
Now, do you see that the kids become competitive as they're in the water?
Yes.
Shannon laughed.
Yes. Yeah, they do. And we actually, once, our curriculum is actually pretty extensive. Once they get towards the end of our curriculum, they actually learn breaststroke, butterfly, and backstroke. And we recruit for our competitive swim team right out of our swim lesson program.
Really?
Yeah. And about 80% of our kids move on to swim team. There's just a natural fall in love with the whole swim family, the environment, and we've got some pretty amazing instructors. All of our instructors actually are competitive or have been competitive swimmers.
Is there something that you see in those kids that you're just like, oh yeah, they got that?
This last Saturday, my head coach, who was in the water, she pulled me over and said, these 2 kids right here, you need to go tell their parents. They're not quite there yet, but they need to. There's something about body position and she had things to say about exactly why they should be swimmers.
Very good.
Her being a swimmer herself can identify those kind of things, but really, the water doesn't see. Anybody can do it. Anybody can competitively swim. It's a lot of work,
Right.
but
Anybody can do it.
Yep.
That's awesome. When the kids, when they complete their swim lessons, do they have the opportunity to then do CPR classes at a certain age? Or do you have to be a certain age to take CPR classes?
So no, you don't have to be. I think I got my CPR certificate when I was like 8 or 9 years old.
Did you really?
Yeah, well, my dad was in the fire service and taught CPR classes, and so I
Right.
go to his classes all the time. So yeah, there's no age limit, there's no age requirement, and hands-only CPR is even easier than that, and that's what we recommend mostly for the public is the hands-only CPR.
And how often do they have to do the certification? Once you learn it, I would forget it.
Yeah, so I think the certification comes up every 2 years, but the hands-only, they don't actually get a certificate or anything. We just show you the basics of how to get it done. And if you can have somebody on scene that's doing hands-only CPR prior to us getting there, that's going to be effective enough right there to keep them alive or to sustain them until we're able to implement advanced life.
Are you going to be doing those kind of demonstrations at the event on the 21st?
Yeah, the hands-only CPR, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's important that everybody learn how to do that. I need to come learn how to do that. I took CPR a long, long time ago, but I've never used it, so I've never, I couldn't remember how to do it if I needed to. Thank God I don't need to today.
That is just so important for any emergency.
Right.
Not only just for drownings, but if families can learn the placement and the rhythm, every second counts. And so while these first responders are on their way, that's something that can really, really be the difference.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
In an emergency.
Yeah, so that's important. So everybody get out there and learn your hands-on CPR, right?
Hands-only.
Hands-only. I knew that. I just said it wrong. Hands-only CPR. I think that's important. I'm going to come do that.
Come on.
Okay, he says I can. Tiffany, you want to go with me?
Yeah.
Okay, we're on it. We're on it. We're excited. So the swim lessons actually start. Tell us exactly when. Your second graders are still in there now.
Yep.
Yes, and you have your Saturday-only classes. When can the other kids start signing up for the swim lessons? Anytime?
We're year-round, so we have kids starting all the time. We have, like I said earlier, currently have 4 pools just in this area. Our Sigma Swim itself, we have 9 pools
Okay.
in the area, and we've actually partnered with. It's kind of a fun. The fire department in Alvarado. One of the really neat things about working with Dana and Safe Kids and Cooks is what we learn. We learn from other areas and the partnerships we make. And the fire department in Alvarado, now Alvarado doesn't have a pool. And
No, they don't.
But they do. What's his name? I can't think. Brad went out and found us a hotel pool. And we're really excited. We're working towards getting a bunch of kids swim lessons down there for free with a grant through the city of Alvarado.
Really?
My kids live they go to Alvarado schools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. I can say just one of the things that has become so special and inspiring about the Lifeguard Your Child campaign is we are learning from one another, and we're going to each city who partners with us to say what's unique about your community. And for instance, Alvarado, they didn't have a pool, but they do, like Coralie was saying, we have hotel pools down there. And so Captain Hargrove with the Alvarado Fire Department, he went directly to them after we spoke. I think it was the next day, and he convinced them to allow swim partners like Sigma Swimming to go down there and comp pool time to go down there. And then the city manager, he convinced them to offer some funds to help get a swim partner down there, and they're making it work. And that's, you don't always see so many partners working together just for the best scenario for the residents of their town. It's just incredible to watch.
Thank goodness. I live in Alvarado, so I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, there's never been a public pool or anything down there. So if there's a will, there's a way, right?
There
is.
Yeah, and the hotels there, they will actually, one of them, I can't remember which one it is, you can pay a certain amount for the day and go swim in their pool. So they don't mind you doing that. That's kind of nice, right? So let's talk about fees associated with the swim classes. I know that you say you have grants and you've got funding and all that fun stuff, but if parents want to contact somebody and say, I just want to have personal lessons for my child, Where do they go? Who do they talk to? How much does it cost?
Shannon, do you want to start?
Oh
'Cause
boy.
You get to start because you start with the youngest.
Right. I mean, at 6 months old,
months.
I know
Yeah.
I paid quite a bit of money because I wanted to make sure the instructor knew what they were doing with my 6-month-old when I put her into swim classes. So, go for it, girl.
I mean, it's an investment. I'm not going to lie. So ISR, we have a team of nurses that actually goes through every child that registers to approve them or approve them with safety protocols. So registration with ISR for the first year is $105, and then we do refresher classes with kids too. It's only $35 every registration is only $35 a year after that. Now there is weekly tuition that is involved. That is me. So I don't always really put the cost out there initially because I want to kind of, give parents a chance to feel it out. But I quote $100 a week. I will follow that with, if you cannot afford that, I will work with you. We can figure something out. I can also offer scholarships. And so that all you have to pay is the $105 registration fee for them to approve the child. And then I'll do the lessons for nothing. And the lessons with me are 5 days a week. And each child is one-on-one. So it's just me and the child in the water. And lessons are pretty short with ISR. They're usually only up to about 10 minutes each. And that's just because we're having the child work really hard. I monitor their temperature throughout the lesson, and when they start getting cold, that's when I get them out of the water, so that temperature fatigue leads to physical fatigue, and that's when it's not safe. So we get them out of the water within about 10 minutes, but that's 50 minutes a week of one-on-one time with your child in the water with me. And I think I know what I'm doing, teaching them how to save their own life.
Right.
And, like I said, it's an investment. But I would gladly give up my Starbucks if I drank it or, whatever extras to be able to pay for that.
Right.
So very worthwhile. As far as the Sigma stuff, I have no idea what they charge.
Yeah, but one of Shannon's kids has already graduated and has moved on to lessons and has joined us. So our lessons are twice a week for 45 minutes. They either come Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday. We have lots of different options. We have mornings and afternoons. During the year, we are at the Brick, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and actually Josh's daughter is one of our rock stars in the water.
Awesome.
She's been swimming with us since the fall, I think.
Yeah, probably about
She's
5 or
3?
6 months. 4.
4.
Yeah.
Just turned 4.
September.
Okay. So we have a $70 registration fee. If you are a Brick member, there is a discount for that registration fee. And then our instructor ratio to students is 1 to 3. And it is $104 a month for the first child. And then if you have additional children, it's $89. And we do actually max out to families that have a large amount of children. We max out at basically, if you have 4 children, the 4th one's free.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
How many parents do you think do not do this because they say they can't afford it?
Too many.
Too many.
Too many. I mean, any is too many.
Right.
Because it's such an important skill.
Right.
It is.
It's like a life lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, the confidence that they gain from actually knowing how to swim, it's kind of like learning how to ride your bike. If they know how to do something, they're going to be more confident in life. So
There's also a lot of
Totally
parents who
possible.
don't do it because they don't know how to swim.
really,
We get requests every single day for adult lessons.
do y'all provide those?
Yes, we do.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the statistics, I remember reading the statistics, but if a parent doesn't know how to swim, more likely their kids won't learn to swim because their parents don't know how to swim.
Right.
Yeah, they
they're
don't
not
want to go in the
comfortable.
water.
Yeah, they're not comfortable.
How long
showing.
does one need to take swim lessons? I mean, you said one kiddo graduated up to, from her class to your class. So, I mean,
It really
continuously?
depends on the kid, and it depends on what the parents are looking for. It also depends on the age of the kid. I mean, there's just so many variables. It's really hard to say exactly. If you want your child to be a strong swimmer, it takes time.
okay.
It's not like any other sport or any other activity. I mean, just think about how long it takes a child to learn how to walk.
Right.
To walk, they learn how to walk, and then they learn how to walk with assistance, and then they learn how to, they're pretty wobbly. But from the time of learning to walk to being able to run, it's a long period.
Right.
Same kind of thing with swim. Shannon sets them up really good with the foundation of being able to float and being able to save themselves. And then when they graduate with her and they move on to us, then they're going to learn the actual stroke development and how to swim across the pool.
And I try to get my kids out. It depends on the child, like she said, and what their background is and what habits I've got to break them from, which is usually the floaties.
Yes.
It's really hard. I'm teaching them a completely different body posture in the water than they're used to. Because like we talked about earlier, with floaties, they can survive or they can stay up vertically in the water. Without them, they're going to sink.
Right.
So I have to break them of that habit. They don't like it. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that they're overjoyed or even remotely happy to see me the first, maybe second, maybe third week of lessons, because it's not fun being broken of everything you've ever known. But I try and get kids out 4 to 6 weeks ish. Some of them take longer, could be up to 8 weeks, but that's if it's really, really a struggle to break them of their habits. But that's my timeline. And then, like she said, then it's usually a pretty natural progression, because once they know that they can do this on their own and they don't need me and they don't need mom or dad to do this, then it really does open up kind of a whole new world for them.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's a big skill,
Yeah.
That's huge. So in the age group that you work with, 6 months to
6 months to 6 years.
6 months to 6 years. Did we get your contact information in case somebody wants to get in touch with you? How do they do that?
I have a website. It's isrbaby.com. isrbaby.com.
Love it. All right. So if you want to get a hold of Shannon, isrbaby.com.
Yeah.
And then you can set up swim lessons with you. And do you drive all over the Metroplex?
As of right now, no. I've got my hands full between my full-time job in the morning, and then I watch my nephews during the day, and then I leave there like at 3 to get out here by about 4:15 and get in the water by about 4:40, and I leave here a little after 7. That's my day, if you were curious.
Right.
But
I was. Thank you for sharing.
no problem.
That was awesome.
If you want bathroom breaks and stuff, I'll get those to you. But no, I'm about to start teaching at a pool in Las Colinas. Possibly a pool in South Lake also. So I'm independent. I own my own business, I guess, if you want to say that. I can go wherever. But right now, Burleson is keeping me super busy.
Do you have any spots available right now for anyone who might be interested?
We're actually starting week 3 of this session. So, I guess I could get somebody in. Probably a younger baby that just wanted to float would be ideal.
Right.
But just because I don't know what scheduling is going to be after the 6 weeks is up, I probably am kind of closed off for the session.
Okay.
But
They
if
can
you
always
really
get in
need to
touch
get your
with
kid
you,
in,
right? They can always get in touch with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just talk about your schedule for maybe later on in the season.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And like I said, I don't want the cost to be a reason to keep anybody from getting these lessons.
Right.
So I am super happy to work with parents of any financial situation just to make sure that your kiddos get what they need in the water.
That's very nice of you.
I try.
We like you, Shannon.
Thanks.
Thank
I
you.
like you guys too.
Thank you.
Yay.
Now, Coralie, what about you and Allison at the Brick? Do y'all have open spots? Can anybody sign up right now, or do they have to wait until the next season?
That's a loaded question.
I know, right?
We start.
welcome.
So we start summer swim at the Brick. Will be June and July.
Okay.
We have lots of spots available for the summer, but they will go quickly. They'll fill up very quickly. We are completely full at the Texas Health Fitness Center pool. We have a wait list for that pool.
Wow.
We will have space in that pool come June.
Mhm.
And then our new pool at 2200 Circle Drive, that pool we have space. So we find space.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So if they contact you, what's the best way to contact you to find out about the swim lessons and the location?
I'll give you my phone number. It is, I hesitate. As my
Are you
phone
sure you
goes.
want to do
No,
that?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the best way.
Okay.
There's so much information that it's not just easy to give email. It's actually easier if I talk to them. So it's 817-991-8336.
Love that. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
And we do two from ages 2 to 92.
Right? Dana's getting her purse. Does that mean you have to leave
I
us?
do. We have other safety today. We have child passenger safety out in Arlington, but I'm just so grateful for everyone here, all of our partners, and for y'all to help share the message. So everybody go on to lifeguardyourchild.org and learn a little bit more about it. And since you've been educated, you can get some of these swim lessons at watersafetyclub.org. Either one, we're so appreciative and grateful for everything you're doing.
Oh my goodness, thank you. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Bye, guys.
So we're gonna let Dana get out of here. So we just
See you on
appreciate you
Thursday.
being here.
See.
And you be safe.
Thank you. Y'all too.
Thank you, Dana.
Have a great day.
You too.
All right, so Marcy, you have Pirates Cove, right?
Right.
So, and you have the big day coming up June 21st for
June
the
21st.
for the biggest swim lesson.
Yes.
So, and they can register starting when?
May 1st.
May 1st.
We will have that event up on our Facebook page.
And just go to Pirates Cove.
Pirates Cove Fun Zone is the Facebook page. We'll also have it on our Jellystone Facebook page as well, North Texas Jellystone.
Where y'all located again?
That is at 2301 South Burleson Boulevard. That's just on the south side of Burleson
And you-
on I-35.
Yeah, you can't
Oh.
miss it.
I lived out here for a very short while, and I've never at least recognized that I've seen Jellystone Park. Or is that separate from Pirates Cove? Forgive my ignorance. I have no idea.
It's
Is it-
two separate businesses,
Okay.
but it is owned by the same person.
Okay.
And it is in coordination because our campers do get to go to Pirates Cove. As you know, there's a deep discount for the campers to go there. But it's
Campers?
just our campers, yes. Yogi Bear and Cindy Bear and Boo Boo Bear live
Oh.
there. So we're talking Jellystone Park.
Really?
The
Yes.
real
They
Jellystone
have
Park.
log cabins
Oh,
and
your nephew
everything.
You have
Love it.
cabins?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Very cool.
So if you want to primitive camp, you know, we have that. I mean, no water, no
It's
electricity.
super nice. Like, it's really the neatest little place
Oh
ever.
my gosh.
So
It
you got
sounds
the
like
adventure camping, but then you also have glamping. You know,
Yeah, you can bring
So-
your camper.
Yes, everything
Yeah,
on
the
the plane.
cabins.
It's the coolest.
Oh, I'm so excited. You have cabins.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you make it
Love
snow at Christmas time? Because that's my
I
dream
don't
is to get a
really
cabin.
So
That's a genius idea that you guys could
we
maybe
can do some
do.
man-made snow. I
That sounds like a
suppose, but-
really great weekend thing to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, in the summertime we're open every day, all day. I mean, we do have year-round, we're
Mhm.
open year-round, but the activities are only on the weekends. But in the summer, it's all day, every day.
And so, okay, so I've got a 3.5-year-old nephew.
You would be the bestest aunt in the whole
Ever.
Yeah, it's
Really?
so fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
the kids love it.
They have slides and stuff.
Oh
They have all
yeah.
kinds of playgrounds.
And
They
can
have
I do
paintball, They
them?
have
Yeah.
a maze. They have.
Wait, did you say paintball? This is amazing.
Don't they?
How did I not know
We're
about
actually
this?
putting in 2 new family
fishing-
slides. They'll be ready June 1st,
Really?
and you can go down with your
Get out.
partners in crime. Yes.
Oh wow.
I'm gonna have to check that out for sure. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I feel so excited about life right now. I really do. I don't have time for like an actual vacation, so maybe something
Just a
in
little
town.
getaway. Just a little
Yeah, it's like
small-
a
It's a great staycation.
And it's only what 15 minutes from the brick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
really close.
I'm gonna have to go check it out for sure.
Come out and see me. I'll take you on a tour.
Heck yeah.
It's centrally located for everyone. It's really easily accessible. So yeah, if you're coming from Waco or Fort Worth or
yeah.
Dallas or wherever, it's right there on 35. You can't miss it.
Huh.
Yeah.
I have managed to miss it, so I'm gonna look for it.
Well, a lot of times I walk into businesses and people see this logo on my shirt. Well, where is that?
Uh huh.
It's just down the road.
It's just right there.
It's pretty hard to not.
Okay,
Except
what
when you
is
go
it?
on 35.
35 and what?
Exit 32. It's on the way to Alvarado.
Okay.
So literally, just while if you're heading to Waco, it's on the east side of the road. Big,
Okay.
big. Now we have a big, huge 16 by 28 TV screen up next
Yeah,
to the road.
you can't-
that you
Maybe it's
can't
because
miss.
I don't really go south of Renfro. Maybe
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
why I've not
yeah.
really seen it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
But now I'm so excited about that.
Isn't that fun?
That sounds so
Something really
cool.
fun to do.
Tiffany, can you change my number? It's 991.
Oh, sorry, honey. I'm so sorry.
Good catch, Josh.
Thank you.
That's why we're such a good team.
I know, right? Taking care of each other.
One of the things that I want to mention, Allison and I talked about kids that come and go to kids camp at the Brick, which there's about 150 a week, I think you
Yeah.
said.
Mm-hmm.
We will work with the campers at the Brick if the kiddos, if the parents want to do swim lessons. The parents take them to camp. We'll arrange for them to come and do swim lessons while they're at camp.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Still working out the details,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we're gonna make it happen.
Now, is your
Yeah.
kids' camp, is it open for registration right now? Do you have spaces available?
It opens up April 30th. And on that day, it's our open house at the Brick, so they can get 10% off as well.
Oh, very good. Okay. So there's plenty of space, though. Maybe. Hurry up. Uh-huh.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you're waiting till the week of camp that
Yeah.
you want to register, like you come that morning,
Yeah, don't.
it could be full.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So if you know ahead of time the weeks that you want, it's best to go ahead and pre-register.
And how long is the camp? Is it all summer? Is it 10
There's
weeks?
11 weeks of
11
camp.
weeks.
Mhm.
Okay. Is that how long they have for summer this year?
Yeah, every
11
year it's 11 weeks.
Oh, I thought it was
Mhm.
only 10. Oh, I got a bonus week. That's awesome. So thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Exciting. I had no idea. I thought I only had 10 weeks.
Well, and that's
You probably just slept the
Burleson.
first week.
You're probably
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Recovery time.
Yeah, that's my vacation, really, right? Yeah. That's exciting, though. So when the kids come to camp, what can they expect at the Brick?
Well, they do all kinds of activities at the Brick, from climbing on the rock wall to gym games, outdoor activities, and then every week they'll take a field trip. Places vary from, I don't know where exactly they're going, but in the past they've gone to medieval times or the zoo,
Cool field
trampoline
trips.
parks.
We went to the
Yeah.
newspaper factory when I was a kid. I didn't ever go to actual camp.
Yeah, they like to keep it active and fun
Yeah.
for the kids, and then they swim every day, or Tuesday through Friday at the Brick. Arts and crafts,
That's like a vacation for kids.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you ever want to go back and be a kid again?
Every day.
Nope.
Just immersing every day. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. There's some days where I'm like, God, I wish I was a kid again.
We must have been a cool kid.
Yeah.
I was the nerd kid with, I shouldn't say nerd kid, but I felt I had a lazy eye, pre-LASIK. Yeah, and so I had to wear these really ugly glasses, and the prescription in my right eye was way stronger than my left eye. So when I wore my glasses, my right eye was probably about 4 times the size of my left eye. So it's almost kind of like a cyclops. And these ugly, clear Flintstones glasses. And my vision was so bad. Thank goodness for LASIK. Thank you, Dr. Whitman, for giving me the gift of sight, because it has made all the difference. But anyway, I'm sorry.
So LASIK fixed that for you?
It did. It made it a lot better. It's still not perfect. I'm like 20/40, but I was like 2200 before I had LASIK.
I'm like 20/80 and 20/20 because this eye was lazy.
Yeah.
When I wore the patches and did all that.
Oh,
as a
me
kid.
too.
I mean, the only kid riding their bike with a patch on. I didn't want to
Oh,
ride
like
pirates.
Yeah. How fun was that?
No,
No,
no.
it was not fun. It was like the color of your skin.
Right.
It wasn't even
No.
a cute patch.
Mine
back
was
in the day.
black.
Could have drawn
Oh,
numbers.
Mine
so
was-
you had a pirate.
Mine was black, and I was so embarrassed of it.
Stick.
See, my
Oh.
little sister also had lazy eye, and I know this has nothing to do with drowning, and I'm sorry. But my little sister also had lazy eye, and because I wouldn't wear my patch, my parents put electrical tape on her glasses, so she had no choice but to walk around. I feel so guilty for that. I felt so bad, but I mean, whatever.
I didn't want to wear my patch either. I had like 5 eye surgeries before I was like
Oh my gosh, really?
7.
Well, thank God we all grew up.
Yeah.
I was the weird kid that wanted braces and glasses and cast, and I never had any of that. So.
See, I'm from the
yeah.
generation where parents, now pretty much every child has braces.
Yeah.
I didn't know any. Maybe one child in my school had braces growing up. That wasn't a thing. Like, dental matters were not your priority. It was just about, yeah, I grew up on Pepsi in my bottles.
Yeah.
I'm not even making that up. Pepsi in my bottles is what I grew up on. And now to see my nephew, and he's not even, all that he drinks is water.
Soda. Right.
All that he drinks is water. And I feel like he's deprived a little bit. I want to sneak in a little bit of Diet Coke sometime. But I'm scared that my
Yeah, don't
sister's
do that.
going to find
Yeah,
out. Well,
she
she has nanny cams.
Oh, yeah.
so
She's wanting to know.
Believe me, I have considered my options.
Yeah.
And if I
Don't do it.
If I wouldn't get caught, I would absolutely get them
But
wired
you
before I left.
Kids get sealants on their teeth now, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So it protects them.
Anyway, back to drowning.
Right? Because we can't put sealants on them from keeping them from drowning. So.
No, good segue, by the way.
Hey, you're welcome. Thank you. Right? So I think this was such an important subject, and hopefully we got everybody's message out there. Did we miss anything that y'all want to talk about before we have to get off of here?
We really should say thank you again to Burleson, Honda, and Nissan. They really stepped up and made it possible for us to put on the Saturday lessons for the 264 kids.
Wow.
So I'm
That's
very
huge.
blessed to work in a community. I get to work with these guys. We often get off topic, which is just completely fine. We get to do, we all work really hard. We're coming into a season where we're going to work extra hard.
Right.
We're just really lucky to live in a community that works together like it does.
And I've never, just real quick, I've never really been part of anything like this before. And I missed the first week of the Saturday lessons, but I was there this past weekend. And being there and seeing so many kids, and they've got it down to such a science. I just wanted to tell you, my gosh, it is really a sight to see. To see they've got kids at different levels in different parts of the pool with instructors doing different things and the kids getting individual attention as much as they can. It's really, really cool. And to see the parents up there in the party rooms learning the stuff that they should be spending their time on instead of eating donuts and, you know, whatever. But it looks like they do this all year round. They've got it down so much. So good job, Coralie. Good job, Allison.
Yes.
I know that you work your tail off to get this done. So I just want to pat everybody's back and say you're doing a really phenomenal job. And I'm very proud to be a part of this.
We're happy to have you in the water.
Thank you.
That's
with
so
us.
cool.
Yeah.
What a tight-knit group. I love this. Love that.
Let's just
Hey, we
hug.
live in a pretty
Right.
awesome community. I mean, all the
Right.
way down from making sure that every city employee has CPR, certified CPR. I mean, really, that says a lot about our mayor. It says a lot about our chief of the fire department, chief of police.
Yeah.
You know, we really do live in a pretty awesome community.
Yeah. What a blessing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is a blessing.
Can you recommend, or can you give advice to other communities that might be wanting to start something like this? How do they start this?
Call Chief Freeman. He'll tell you.
I think getting involved with Safe Kids, that really has
Yeah.
taken our community relationships to the next level. I mean, Allison and I did it kind of on the down low. I don't think that anybody actually really knew we were doing it. I'm not even sure Allison's boss knew that we were doing it. We kind of did our thing and went out and got all this information because we were compassionate about it. And then now just having the support of Cooks has been huge.
Right.
Safe Kids, I mean, they provide us with those books. You know, I called up Dana and I said, hey, I need another 200 books. They provided us, each of us with 100 to begin with. And she said, I'll meet you. I'll come and get you. Do you need stickers? Do you need arm bracelets? What do you need?
Huge.
So, you know, the whole partnership is just pretty amazing.
That's awesome.
And you know, there are things, just real quick, there are things that you can do as a person that's not part of a coalition. I lived in an apartment complex, and one of the biggest issues that I had living there was the amount of lighting that they had in the pool. It was a giant pool. I think it was like the second biggest in the city, and most of it had no lights. And I know that you probably don't think about it. The lights out, no big deal. But you know, a child could be floating in the dark part of the pool and you're not going to know it. Or they
Right.
could be in there playing and they need to get out and you're not going to know it. So, I mean, there's little things that you can really keep an eye out for, especially if you live in an apartment community.
Right.
Make sure the gates close automatically behind you when you're around the pool. If for whatever reason it's not closed, take 2 seconds out of your day and go shut the thing to keep kids from getting in there. If the lights are out, go talk to your community manager or whatever to make sure that they get that taken care of. I mean, just little things like that can really make all the difference in keeping kids safe. And I know you probably don't, they know that the lights are out in the pool or what, you know, maybe they do know and they're just not taking the time to fix it. So
Right.
go in there and get that going, do whatever you can to do your part, because it really can save
Be
lives.
proactive. If you see something wrong, just take action and take care of it, right?
Seriously.
Yeah,
And
that's a
don't
good
assume
point.
that somebody else is going to do it, because chances are they're thinking the same thing. Somebody else is
Oh,
going to do
somebody
it,
else is gonna
and
do it.
that's not the case.
Yeah, that's an important point to make, so thank you for doing that.
Sure.
Well, we've got about 4 minutes before we have to get off of here. So does anybody have any last minute shout outs, comments that you want to make? We'll go around the room and just let y'all have your piece.
Where do we can start down there, because I've just been hijacking.
Yeah. Well, I just want to thank you guys for allowing us to participate in the Drowning Prevention Coalition, because it's a great way to get involved with the community. We always want to give back. You know, the park wants to give back to the community and participate in any way we can, and this is a great way for us to do it. So thank you.
Yay! Applause! Yay!
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
I want to say, if you aren't CPR certified or have had any CPR classes, go get them.
Right.
And like Shannon said, don't let cost prevent you from getting your kids swim lessons. We know plenty of people who have the new iPhone 10.
I do. Not bragging.
Yeah.
Right. It's a worthwhile sacrifice to get your kids swim lessons. Do get on and join that water safety club. There is some free lessons available on there as being part of that. That's one of the things, the partnerships that we do. So, and of course, I'm always grateful for our partners, our pool partners. You know, working with Allison has been phenomenal. Our Texas Health Pool and now our Tarrant County Resource Pool. I mean, we couldn't do it without the pools.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I have another piece.
Yes.
Don't forget the world's largest swim lesson on June 21st, because that is free. That is free. So, you know, if your kids have no experience swimming, that's a good way to get the ball rolling.
Yeah. And register by May 1st, right?
Well, no, the registration will open May 1st.
It opens May 1st.
Right.
Got it.
Coralie, what was your email again?
It's Coralie at sigmaswimming.org. CORALEE at sigmaswimming.org.
Okay.
And our website is sigmaswim.org.
Okay.
And that gives all our other locations too, not just the Burleson area.
Okay.
We're in Fort Worth, Duncanville, Cleburne.
You're everywhere.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
So if you're not in Burleson, there's opportunities for you to be a part of the swim
absolutely.
lesson. So yeah, Sigma Swim. Love that. Allison, what about you? You want to give shout outs for the break? Is somebody calling in? Let's accept a call. Oh, turn Skype up.
Thank you for calling JoCo Community Radio.
Good morning.
Hey, this is Pam.
Of course it is. Hi, Pam Masters. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, I just wanted to see if there might be some way that JoCo Community Radio could sponsor some swim lessons.
We would absolutely love that.
That is a yes. Yes.
Okay, good. Coralie, let's get together and talk and see if there's some way that we can help with that. Maybe even do a fundraiser or something to make sure no kid has to not have lessons. We want to make sure that we're helping with that initiative as much as we can.
That would be awesome.
Thank you, Pam Masters.
Okay.
Pam Masters actually owns the station, so she's the boss lady. So she makes all these fun decisions.
Yes.
So thank you, Pam Masters. I know, right? Yeah. I was like, wait a minute. I don't write the check. She does. So thank you, Pam Masters.
And by the way, I'm a fan of Psycho Shannon, so having her on my little radio station has been the talk of the town.
I'm trying to keep my composure. I'm the one sitting here. I'm a huge fan.
I've got so many things to talk about. You just let me know when you want me back, and I will be here.
Oh, very cool.
Awesome.
Right?
Thank you guys.
Y'all have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Thank you, Pam. She's kind of awesome, right?
Yeah, she is.
So that's
kinda
exciting.
awesome.
So we
That
will.
is fabulous.
I couldn't say anything, but thanks, Pam. So we're going to sponsor some swimmers. So thank
And
you.
we actually have a link. I'll get that link up
Okay.
where you can go on and sponsor our kids to make sure that, because we do offer scholarships year round.
Right.
Where we'll have a link. We have a link on our website where I'll get it to you. I don't know it off the top of my head.
You can add it once this is posted. You can go back and add and comment and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
That can help a kid in need.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
All right, Allison. Shout outs for the brick.
I'll remind everyone that if you want one of those Water Watcher tags, come see me at the Brick, and I'll get you those, as well as little bracelets for your kids, stickers, Clifford books, whatever you'd like to have. Come see me. And then also I'll mention we've got some lifeguard classes coming up. If you've got any teens looking for a summer job or year-round job, come see me.
Yeah.
We'll be pulling right out of those classes for hiring lifeguards, and it's a good skills to have to know how to save someone in the water, know how to do CPR and all that stuff. So.
Very cool. Thank you.
We do have a job fair this evening today and Thursday, and we are hiring lifeguards as well. So
always looking for lifeguards.
Yes, sir. Gotta have them.
Yeah,
that's important. So your job fair starts today?
It is today and Thursday.
At Jellystone?
It's at the Pirates Cove building there.
Okay.
That actual address is 2461 South Burleson Boulevard.
Very good. So lifeguards are needed.
Yes.
That's important. All right. Well, hopefully we'll get some people sent over there that can apply for that job. So thank you. All right, Josh, what you got?
Yeah, come see us on May 26th at Honda Burleson, 11 to 3. That's our safety fair. The fire department is committed to community risk reduction, obviously focusing a lot on drowning prevention right now, but we have a lot of other efforts. Thanks to Chief Freeman for bringing this program to the fire department, and Cook Children's, and Sigma Swim and the Brick, and Jellystone, and DeShannon. This thing has grown a lot faster than I originally anticipated it.
Right.
It's turned into a much larger project than I thought it would this quick.
And how long have y'all been doing this again?
The coalition, about a year.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That is amazing. Well, congratulations. Yeah, hugely successful.
Yeah. Real quick, hi to Avery, my daughter.
Hi, Avery. Hi, Avery. That's awesome. I love that.
It's Tuesday. She's got swim lessons today.
Right?
She does have so much to say.
That's awesome. If you scoot that way just a little bit, Josh, she'll really see you. So wave again. Hi, Avery. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. All right, Shannon.
I feel like I've said enough already. My personal website for ISR lessons is isrbaby.com. And there are other instructors in the area, so if you want to find one, you can do that at infantswim.com. And thank you guys for having us.
Oh my
thank
gosh.
you, Corley. Thank you, Ellis. Thank you, everybody. And I'm really proud to be part of this.
Awesome. Well, we've had a great morning. So, again, thank you on behalf of JoCo Community Radio for all of y'all being here today. And hopefully we got enough information out there that people will be more educated and aware of what's going on and take part in it. So get your kids signed up for swim lessons. It's so important. So with that said, we got to go.
We do.
Right?
I hope everybody has a great Tuesday. Make today better than yesterday. And
thank you, Family Toyota Burleson, for sponsoring JoCo Community Radio. So we're out of here. Y'all have a good day.
Thanks
Thanks.
everyone.
Thank you.
bye.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, when you guys said